I think Mayor Hersh, it's philosophical for him. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with budget reductions. The city of Weston had already reduced their budget, so it's not about that. What it's about is, does the state have the authority to take away the authority of other elected officials? For example, the cities and the city officials and the county officials have the ability to levy up to 10 mills. So it's their responsibility to the community, I think politics works best. The closer they are to all of us who vote, the better they work. So that's an issue for him, is that they were given certain authority by state law until such time as the voters take it away. He sees that as state interference. And I think the other thing, and I think he's right on it, is it's smoke and mirrors. You know, you name something the super exemption. There's nothing super about it. It's a veiled attempt to eliminate saver homes. In Broward County, for example, and I'm not good at statistically about the rest of the state of Florida, but in Broward County we have just over 432,000 homesteaded properties. 57% of those property owners are better off with saver homes, and 43% would be better off with the super exemption. So I would assume that the reason during the last hour of the last day of the session that I put amendment into the bill the public will vote on and said that if you have saver homes, you're allowed a one-time only irrevocable decision to keep it. I would assume that we typify probably other counties in Florida because they wouldn't have put that amendment in if we didn't, because they were looking to make sure it would pass, that it wouldn't create such outrage that the voters would oppose it. It only addresses the group of people that weren't shouting the loudest, because the people that had homestead weren't complaining. It was those folks who had no cap. So here we go. I mean, and the governor said he supported portability. The governor said he supported a $50,000 exemption. None of those things are happening. And then they did the sales tax. I mean, first they said if you'll increase the sales tax, what was it, 3 cents? We can do all these things. And everybody said, well, where's the paperwork? Where's the studies? And then about 13 days later, well, we only need 2.5 cents or 2 cents. And then pretty soon, like 3 weeks later, it was a penny. Well, what's happening? Why is all this? I think that, I'm hopeful if the residents of Florida turn it down, that the legislature will be forced to give Florida and its citizens what we've been asking for, and that's meaningful tax reform. Because you have a lot of governments, but not Weston. But we had cities in Broward County last year, because of the windfall and the increase in assessed values, their ad valorem collection of taxes increased 37.8%, almost 26% in Davie. I mean, outrageous numbers. And the problem is, when the public's personal income is increasing perhaps 0, 2%, 2.5%, or 4% maximum, you can't increase government expenditures by these astronomical increases because you have exceeded the public's ability to pay. And I think that Eric, he had a law firm willing to do it pro bono. It was a philosophical issue. And, sometimes people sit back and, it's not my job. That's the state's problem. The people probably vote against it. And I think Eric just felt like it was time to take a stand. I mean, he had a law firm willing to take it, that believed that what the government did was unconstitutional. So he took the position. I happen to believe, though, that, I've heard that they have this 90-some page study in Tallahassee and done by some lawyer in Georgia or something, a constitutional lawyer, that, portability is not constitutional. And I read it. It doesn't say that. It says it may not be constitutional. But anytime anybody in Tallahassee doesn't want to do something, they always say, it's unconstitutional. Well, they said that about saver homes in 1992 when the voters of the state of Florida overwhelmingly approved that. The same groups that opposed portability said that about saver homes. It was challenged all the way to the Florida Supreme Court over 2 years, and in 1994, the Florida Supreme Court upheld the voters' will, which was to implement saver homes. So they implemented on January 1st, 1995. So, if citizens sometimes don't take a stand, who will for us? So I think the mayor has every right to take this position because he's not hurting the taxpayers of his community. He has a law firm that's willing to do it pro bono because they believe they're constitutional issues. So I think we'll wait and it'll be interesting. I happen to think, though, people are always allowed to vote. And I believe the Supreme Court will allow that too. What I find interesting is I've led two citizens petition initiatives. We did the Save Our Everglades the first time, and when we took our ballot question to the Florida Supreme Court, they said it was unconstitutional because it contained too many issues in one single question. So they turned us down, and we had to start all over from scratch and turn that same issue into 6 ballot questions 2 years later. What I find interesting is the citizens group is expected to put forth more effort than the state of Florida, because if you look at the ballot question, and if anybody wants to read it, they can go to our website, www.bcpa.net. On the homepage in blue, there's legislation. You can click there and you can read all about it and form your own opinions. But they have included an income approach to value. They've included something on tangible personal property. They have included the super exemption. And by the way, that's an oxymoron. I think it's not super for 57% of the residents of Broward County that have homestead. But they've included all these issues into one ballot question. So what my question is, and I think it'd be interesting to see the answer from the Supreme Court, is how come our Florida state legislature can do something that the citizens of the state aren't allowed to do? What we've done at the Property Appraiser's office, if you go to our website, www.bcpa.net, you click on property search, and you can search under your name, last name, comma, first name, or your address, and you bring up your own individual property. If it's homesteaded, you go to the top and click on super exemption, and we have a bar chart and a chart showing you whether you'd be better off or worse off. So each person can make an informed decision before they go and vote in January. But what I think the legislature, I completely and totally disagree with them. This isn't tax reform. All they did was shut the barn door before the last horse got out. They've held the line, but they didn't do what the citizens of Florida asked.